We are live. How is everyone doing? This is WrestleNews 365. My name is Owen, and we are here for an AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts watch along. This is very exciting. This is very, very exciting because this has been a match type that we've been waiting for a long time. We really have been waiting for this one for a long time. We've been waiting for this ever since, over a year. I remember I did a match preview talking about it earlier on, and I was kind of retracing things in my mind as I was going through it and as I was doing the match preview, and I was thinking about when was the first time we heard about Blood and Guts. When was the first time we actually properly heard anything about this? And it goes back to as far back as AEW Revolution 2020 was the first time there was an announcement when it comes to actually having the Blood and Guts match and all that kind of stuff. That was the first time we really truly heard anything, wasn't it, about this? And it's funny, the name. I think the name for this event is kind of forgotten a little bit on people. Is that this name Blood and Guts comes from Vince McMahon? The name Blood and Guts comes from Vince McMahon, and the name that it comes from Vince McMahon is because obviously when AEW was first starting up and they were first doing their first couple of shows and their first couple of pay-per-views, and obviously Dynamite eventually came on the air and all that kind of stuff, they had the Jon Moxley Kenny Omega match at Full Gear in 2019. Again, this goes back to 2019. This is how long we've waited for this Blood and Guts match. It goes back to 2019, and Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley have that match in Baltimore for Full Gear 2019. And it's just, talk about something that was just uber violent. We're talking just gratuitous violence, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, on an earnings call after that, Vince McMahon is talking to his shareholders, his stockholders, the money people that have shares in WWE, and he's asked about AEW. He's asked about AEW, and he's asked about, what do you think about the competitors, what this other company is doing? Is that going to affect business? Is that going to hurt WWE? Is that going to affect the way you do business? All that kind of stuff. And he kind of downplays AEW like he would come on and say, "Oh, AEW, they're great. Tune in Wednesday nights on TNT." So he starts talking about AEW and he says, "Oh, they do stuff different to us. We do sports entertainment, whilst them over there, they're doing that blood and guts wrestling." And everyone, obviously, when they heard that name, their ears pricked up and they went, "What did he say? Blood and Guts wrestling, I don't know about that." And obviously the Tony Khan and the EVPs of AEW, they heard that name, Blood and Guts, and they were like, "We'll show you Blood and Guts." So that obviously stuck with them a while. Now, it was a bit of a story on social media at the time for a little bit, wasn't it? The whole Blood and Guts comment. It was just Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon. And then it comes to Revolution 2020, prior to the pandemic. You know what's funny? This is a bit of a sidebar, actually. And we've got about half an hour before Dynamite Blood and Guts goes on the air, so we can talk about all this stuff. This is the beauty of being live, isn't it? But I say prior to the pandemic, but that first promo for Blood and Guts came on Revolution 2020. And obviously there was a live crowd in attendance. It was February 2020. And it felt like the world was normal at the time. But was the, I don't really want to get too political, but was the pandemic technically ongoing there? I don't know. I don't know. It's just, sidebar, massive sidebar. Nevertheless, during that pay-per-view, we see that an advert for Blood and Guts. And we're like, okay, Blood and Guts, this is interesting. We come to find out it's essentially AEW's version of War Games. It's the two rings and the giant cage. The pictures have come out on social media already, so if you haven't seen them, you can check them out on social media. They're everywhere at this point. And the original match, of course, was meant to be the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle were meant to be in the original match, but the other team that was meant to be in the original Blood and Guts match was the Elite. It was going to be the Inner Circle versus the Elite. And obviously we didn't get that because of the pandemic, and we were this close. We were this close to getting it as well. We were so close to getting that match, but it didn't happen, of course, with the pandemic. It was those period of shows where they built up to them. We were going to have the episode of Dynamite in Rochester, New York, that infamous episode of Dynamite in Rochester, New York, where we would have had two debuts on that show. We would have had Brody Lee being revealed as the Exalted One of the Dark Order in his hometown in Rochester, New York. And we'd have also had the AEW debut AEW Dynamite debut, AEW debut of Broken Matt Hardy on that show. And Broken Matt was meant to be in the Blood and Guts match. He was going to be replacing the Hangman Page, who had left the Elite during that period of time. So we were going to have the Rochester, New York episode, and then we were going to have Blood and Guts, I think, the following week. I think it was meant to be in Newark, New Jersey. Obviously, the pandemic changed that. Didn't happen. The Rochester, New York episode never happened. We still had the debuts of Hardy and Brody Lee, but that Rochester, New York event still hasn't happened, and obviously the New Jersey show still hasn't happened. There was discussion at the time, would they still go through with the Blood and Guts match? And I think the right move was to postpone it. Obviously, there was concerns at the time. Obviously, that no one really knew at the time what really the situation was with the pandemic. One thing was for sure, because they didn't know what was going to be shut down. Remember, Dynamite was taped for like 6 weeks in Georgia in the Nightmare Factory because they didn't know what was going to go on. So obviously, not knowing what was going to go on, you couldn't. If you're openly telling people to stay at home and socially distance and not going to crowds and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't send the right message if then on television you're doing a match where you've got 10 people in the ring and you're all bleeding all over each other. So it was the right move to postpone it. But now it's the time. It's the time, and it's exciting. It's very, very exciting. There's a couple of things as well that are really exciting about tonight's Blood and Guts event. Is that we're going to have a decent sized capacity crowd of live fans in attendance for tonight's show as well. Obviously, 4 episodes of Dynamite in recent memory, anyway, in Daly's Place, we'd have some fans in attendance, but tonight we're going to get a lot of fans in attendance. There's a rumor, and I don't know if this is the case. You can let me know in the live chat if you've heard this as well or whatever. But there is a rumor that we're going to have about 50% capacity tonight in Daly's Place, which is just over 2,000 fans in attendance. Obviously, Dynamite or AEW actually raised the ticket allocation for Revolution back in March. That was their biggest show that they've done since the pandemic in terms of capacity. But I think they're looking to beat that tonight. And obviously, the announcement was made today for Double or Nothing in May. That's going to be at 100% capacity inside Daly's Place. So we're looking at, I think it's something like 5,500 fans. So we're getting back to that point now, aren't we? We're getting back to that point where we're going to have capacity crowds in attendance, certainly in certain states, in states like Florida, I think Texas as well. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there, when it comes to crowds and when it comes to having fans in attendance for various events, and that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. So on top of having this amazing main event, which it's in the title, Blood and Guts, it's going to be gratuitously violent. It's going to have a lot of blood, I think, which is exciting because that's what I grew up with. I grew up with when there was a Hell in a Cell match, or when there was an Elimination Chamber match, or when there was a speciality main event match stipulation like this that involved a cage or whatever. You got blood. It makes it feel bigger. It makes it feel real. It makes it feel more epic. And that's what we're going to get tonight. And we're going to have a really great crowd reaction. So it's incredibly exciting. It's very, very exciting. Let's check in the live chat quickly before we start off. Darth Thor says the Pinnacle have to win. Well, that's it. I agree. I do agree. And I said this in the match preview that I did earlier on. That for me, it's a really fascinating one because you're right. The Pinnacle, you would think, have to win. They can't. I mean, this is their first match really as a faction, isn't it? This is their first match as a faction, and if they lose this, they're dead in the water. They're over. They're not a faction. If you lose your first big match as a faction, what's the point going forward? So the Pinnacle have to win. The only confusing element of that to me is that the storyline and the direction would lead one to believe that the Inner Circle would win, because logical storytelling has been that MJF got into the Inner Circle by defeating Chris Jericho at Full Gear last year. He wormed his way in. He tried to kick out Sammy Guevara. He tried to overthrow Chris Jericho as its leader. He tried to destroy the Inner Circle, as it were. The Inner Circle have turned babyface because of this. They're fighting back. They're fighting up against MJF and his new faction. Logic would suggest that the babyfaces come out on top, right? Because what's the outcome here? If the heel faction wins, it just shows that heels always win and the bullies always win, and the bullies win over friendship. You know what I mean? That's strange, but I agree with you. I think the Pinnacle should win, and I think the Pinnacle will win. I think the way out of this is that someone in the Inner Circle is turning on his teammates tonight. I think that's the outcome. And I think it might be Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. I think, and this was my prediction, and I'm going to stick with this, I think Sammy Guevara turns on Chris Jericho tonight. And I'm not saying that Sammy Guevara is going to join the Pinnacle. I don't see that. But I can see a scenario where Sammy Guevara turns on Chris Jericho. Because, again, we're talking logic here. The logic, to me, states that who suffered the most through all of this in the Inner Circle? It was Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara suffered the most through all of this. This was the guy that was telling Chris Jericho and the guys in the Inner Circle from the start, don't trust MJF. Don't trust him. There's something going on. And MJF realized that. That's why MJF tried to kick him out, if you were. And that's why Sammy Guevara quit. And Sammy Guevara quit, or he's kicked out or whatever. Chris Jericho didn't go chasing him or anything like that. He was meant to go to Impact. That didn't really work out, but he was out of the Inner Circle. Now, eventually he comes back. But maybe it's a case of he came back just to be like, okay, I'm going to come back. But when you least expect it, I'm going to turn on you, Chris Jericho, because you didn't believe in me. And you kicked me out. You chose MJF's side over me. And eventually you came running back to me. But I don't forget. I don't forget what you did. And I don't forget the way you treated me. So I'm going to turn on you eventually. And I think this is the perfect time tonight. This is how I would book it. If I was writing this show, if I was booking this show, if I was a producer, an agent, whatever, this would be my finish to the match. Because the only way to win this match was at pinfall or by forfeit or giving up, essentially. The way I'd have it. So you've got all this chaos, this blood's going everywhere. And basically, in the middle of the ring, in the middle of one of those rings, finally Chris Jericho's got blood all over his face. So does MJF. He's got his baseball bat, Floyd. And he's got MJF's on his knees, and he's begging. He's praying. He's saying, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Just please spare me. And you think, oh, MJF's, he's just going to quit. He's going to give up. He's going to forfeit, whatever. He's going to say, no, I don't want to do it anymore. The Inner Circle win the match. But he doesn't. Just as he's going to do it, Jericho goes, no, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction for that. I'm going to get my revenge for what you did to me and what you tried to do to my family, the Inner Circle. And then Sammy Guevara comes up behind him and goes, yeah, and what you did to this guy. You tried to turn him against me, but he didn't. He stayed loyal. And he says, I'm not going to hit you with Floyd, the baseball bat. I'm going to give it to Sammy Guevara. I'm going to let this guy do the honors because this is the guy you screwed over the most. So he gives Floyd the baseball bat to Sammy Guevara, and you're thinking, right, Guevara's just going to tail off. He's just going to destroy MJF with this bat, and they're going to get the victory. And just as he leans back, Sammy Guevara is going to hit MJF, swerve, bang, hits Jericho. Lays out Jericho on commentary. They're going, what happened? Why did he turn on him? What did he do? MJF then gets the cover, 1, 2, 3, gets the victory, and you realize that Sammy Guevara was the one playing the game all along. And what does this lead to now? It leads to Jericho versus Guevara, double or nothing, full capacity, big match, elevates Guevara to the next level, elevates Guevara to a main event level position in AEW, and you can have Jericho and Guevara feuding for the next few months, something like that. That's the way I would book it, because I think we have to realize that Double or Nothing isn't a million miles away, is it? I mean, we're talking several weeks away, but we're building to this. This is still an episode of Dynamite at the end of the day. And where do we want to go to? We want to go to Double or Nothing. That's where the big money is. So I think we have to think of the outcome with that involved as well. So that's certainly very, very interesting. So there's so much at play here. There's rumors as well that this might actually start the show, the Blood and Guts match, which to me I don't understand, because not that this is the only thing people are tuning in for. Far from it. People are going to tune into Dynamite anyway, and I do want to touch on that because people are expecting big numbers tonight. Apparently there was a ton of promotion last night during the NBA on TNT. And some people are quoting, over nearly 2 million or something like that. I don't know if we see that tonight, but certainly there's a chance for a big number, so that's exciting. It's just a very exciting night. We'll double check in the chat again. Darth Force says 50% tonight, 100% for Double or Nothing, obviously referring to the attendance, so that's very exciting. Eric Travis says, hey Owen, do we see the Inner Circle turn? And is Britt Baker face a mystery partner tonight? So I mentioned there, I think if we see a turn in terms of the Inner Circle, I think it will be Sammy Guevara. Darth Force says maybe Tyson turns on Jericho, but Sammy is the right choice. It's a possibility. They said that Mike Tyson technically is a member of the Inner Circle. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think Tyson could factor in. Maybe not to tonight, but maybe coming to Double or Nothing. I mean, they said they wanted to do Chris Jericho versus Mike Tyson last year at, was it Double? I think it was All Out. They wanted to do that match. And obviously Tyson couldn't do it because he had the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Again, if putting my booking hat on, and I've got my pencil here, you can't see it, there you go, I've got my pencil here, maybe you could see a scenario where it's Jericho versus Guevara at Double or Nothing, and you have Tyson as an outside enforcer, something like that. Tyson screws over Jericho at Double or Nothing. That leads to a match at All Out. Again, that's a big, massive event for AEW. They possibly could be doing an arena in a different city by that point because it's end of August, start of September, and I think Tyson would be in for that. So that's interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting. As far as what Eric has said there, does Britt Baker face a mystery opponent tonight? I don't think they haven't announced it. They're just saying Britt Baker's in action. I think it's a showcase match for Britt Baker, to be honest. Obviously, I think Britt Baker's going to be the one to end Hikaru Shida's Women's Championship reign. I think that's right. I think Britt Baker is arguably the biggest star overall in that women's division now. It's the irony being is that she was always going to be positioned as the face of the women's division when she was a babyface and it didn't work out. She's kind of become the face of the division being the heel, which is interesting, and she's far better at being a heel than she ever was as a babyface. So that's interesting. Darth Thor says, odd, but AEW has not used the name All In since the original, since that was a co-promotion pay-per-view. Could they use that for a future co-pay-per-view with the likes of Impact, New Japan, or AAA? The reason they can't use the All In name, you're right, because it's a co-promotion pay-per-view, but actually because Ring of Honor basically footed the bill for everything there. I think New Japan had an element of it, but it's mainly Ring of Honor. I believe ROH actually owns the footage to that event. So I think Ring of Honor actually owns all of that stuff when it comes to the All In event. And I think they just wanted cut and dry. Just All In was a pilot, if you will, for AEW. It was kind of like when you shoot a pilot and you shop it around to various networks or you shop it around to various investors. That's kind of what All In was. And I think, personally, I prefer the name All In as opposed to All Out, but it's one of those things, isn't it? It's just going to be one of those things. We're about 15 minutes or so away from Blood and Guts going on the air. So you can let me know your predictions for tonight's show, because we do have other matches for tonight's show as well, which I do want to touch on before Blood and Guts goes on the air. But you can let me know your predictions in the live chat. Super chats are open. You can contribute to the channel by clicking the $sign. Any donations or contributions are greatly appreciated. It's the best way to support the channel. So if you do want to contribute, you can click the $sign. If you're excited for Blood and Guts, smash a like on the like button as well. That really does help us out here on YouTube. Go up the rankings, get into people's recommendation feeds if they've never seen any of our videos or streams before. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. And of course, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, we post daily videos talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we do go live for watch-alongs like this or reviews. I don't like to call them reviews. I like to call them reactions or stuff like that after the show. We'll be doing another one. I'll do another one after tonight's show. They were quite good after WrestleMania. Just a little breakdown. Like I said, they're not really reviews. They're more just a recap, an immediate reaction to what we've seen and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that's a lot of fun to do. It's quite cathartic, especially sometimes if some of the decisions haven't been that great. So we'll be doing that after tonight's show as well. We'll be doing a reaction stream, so be sure to stick around for that one. But it's very exciting. I'm very excited. And if you are excited, you can let me know in the live chat or smash a like on the like button as well. That really does, as I mentioned, help us out here on YouTube. So as I mentioned, we do have some other matches for tonight's show that have been announced. There was a rumor, wasn't there? There was a rumor, and I touched on this in the preview that I did earlier. There was a rumor that tonight's, and this rumor was a couple of weeks ago, I think. There was a rumor that tonight's show was going to be a one-match show. Blood and Guts was going to be a one-match show. It was just going to be the Blood and Guts match, and they were going to do that across 2 hours. And when I heard that, I just went, there's no way that's true. There's no way that's true. Don't get me wrong, it'd be an interesting experiment to see if they did try that. but just how on earth would you pull that off? Because let's be honest, the Blood and Guts match tonight, that could maybe go, I would say longer than half an hour, maybe like 40 minutes, maybe something like that, because you have to factor in commercial time and all that kind of stuff as well. So maybe like, again, a bit longer than 30 minutes. So maybe, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes, something like that. But to say that it would be a 2 hour, it would just be a one match show, I just thought that was ridiculous, because how on earth would they make that work? Because you'd be padding so much time, you would feel like an episode of Monday Night Raw. There would be video packages, recap packages, interviews, all that kind of. It just would not work. It just would not work whatsoever. So I'm glad that they haven't done that. I'm glad that there are other matches announced for the show. So we'll touch on that. So as I mentioned, we've got the Blood and Guts match, as you can see there. I'm still going to go with the Pinnacle to win, I think, because they have to. But I just wouldn't be totally surprised if the Inner Circle won, just because I think, just because I think that the storyline is heading that way. But I'm going to go with the Pinnacle to win because they have to win, I think. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone turned on themselves in the Inner Circle, on a partner, that kind of stuff. So we're going to go with the Pinnacle for that one. We have, I mean, this is the one everyone's tuning in for, right? Forget Blood and Guts. I know people can say they're excited for the War Games and all that kind of stuff. This is the one. This is the big one, right? It's Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, guys. Well, I'm lucky I'm sitting down because, I mean, just the excitement for this one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mean it as a disrespect to QT Marshall or anything like that, but I really don't care. I really don't care about this match, and I'm not one of those people that's just like a constant Cody basher and nepotism and he wants to get all his friends booked and all this kind of stuff. But if you're Cody Rhodes at this point, pick better friends. I mean, the AEW has been around like 2 years, just less than 2 years, whatever. He's been turned on 3 times by friends at this point. He's got Shawn Spears smacking him in the head with his steel chair. You got MJF kicking him in the nuts. And now you got QT Marshall turning on him with all of his kids at the Nightmare Factory. Pick better friends. Pick better storylines. It's this forced, care. Someone care about the Cody Rhodes storyline. Someone care about Cody and his friends and all this kind of stuff. So, and like when Cody had the storyline with Shawn Spears, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. It was just kind of, there's Cody's with his friends again. You know what I mean? It's just, I really don't care. I really don't care. And the Factory faction, it's not bad. I mean, it helps these guys get on TV and it gets good exposure. But the idea that QT Marshall has his own faction in a major promotion in 2021, again, no disrespect, but that's like Disco Inferno having his own one in WCW. It's just like, again, I just really don't care for this. So Cody Rhodes wins this one. If Cody Rhodes is putting over QT Marshall, then he's insane. It's a waste, especially when they count wins and losses. It's just, it's stupid. I really don't get that. Really don't get that. Again, and again, I'm really having to choose my words carefully because I don't want to be one of those people like, he's just helping out his friends. But this one screams he's helping out his friends. He's like, QT, don't worry, brother, I can get you over. If there's anyone that can get you over, QT, it's the Codester. Yeah, we can get you over. And it's just like, okay, enough with the friends, enough of all that kind of stuff. It's just, enough of having your friends turn on you and plug in the Nightmare Factory, and you've got the Nightmare Bus, because Cody's a big celebrity. Now remember, he's on TBS, he's a celebrity judge on the Go Big Show, and he's got Snoop Dogg as his best friend. He's got Snoop Dogg rapping an awful version of his entrance theme. I mean, his entrance theme, I didn't think it could get much worse than when they sang it live at Revolution in 2020, because that live performance of his theme song then was awful. And this version with Snoop Dogg rapping is even worse. It's horrendous. So, again, this match will be fine tonight. Cody will win. If he doesn't, and he puts over QT, then that means this feud's carrying on. And again, I really don't care for it. So I think Cody wins this one. And hopefully that's the end of that. We can get back to more gender reveals on Dynamite. And the Cody Rhodes reality show as well. Ugh, do me a cheesy quaver, honestly. Right, we have Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston going up against Kenny Omega and Nakazawa as his partner. So I think we know why Nakazawa is in this one, to take the pin. So I think Kenny Omega is going to be on the losing end of this, but he's not obviously going to take the pin. I think this is the world title situation is interesting because it's kind of not cut and dry as to where they're going for Double or Nothing. It's a difficult one. I think they're possibly. I don't think they're going to Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley. We've seen it, and I don't care to see it again. Kenny Omega, Eddie Kingston is really interesting, and I am interested in that. I don't know necessarily what it does for Eddie Kingston, considering he's been in a title match against Moxley, lost. He'd be in a title match with Kenny Omega. He won't win. It would be an interesting feud, but I don't know. There's obviously rumors about possibly Christian Cage facing Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. That would be interesting. I like the idea of Kingston and Moxley as a tag team. I think they'll possibly. I was going to say they'll possibly win the AEW World Tag Team Championships, which I suppose then means that Eddie Kingston won't be facing Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. Again, very confusing. Very, very, very confusing. Very confusing. But I'm interested in this one because I really like the Moxley and Kingston dynamic. I think they're great together. So I think they win this tag team match. I think Nakazawa eats the pin. Britt Baker's in singles action. We don't know who against. Again, I think it's a showcase match. So obviously, she's winning because I think she's going to win the Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. And then we have a four-way tag team match. The winner gets a future opportunity at the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I think SCU obviously have to win this one because if they lose a match, they break up. And that's the story. So obviously, they're breaking up at some points, but that isn't going to be tonight. I think obviously they're leading towards a match against the Young Bucks for the World Tag Team Championships. They confronted them last week on Dynamite, saying we want a future opportunity at the World Tag Team Championships. We're going to beat you, and if we don't, we're going to break up. It's the Ric Flair storyline all over again from 2008. So obviously I think SCU win, but they don't win the tag team titles. Eventually they're going to split up. So those are the matches that have been announced. I'm sure we'll get a load of other stuff. I think there's promos from the likes of Miro that have been announced as well. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on tonight's show. A lot of interesting stuff. Let's double check in the chat once more because I can see the chat is popping off as well. We've got quite a few. Mick Thompson says, "Are you ready for the show?" I am. How about you? Of course I'm ready. Dark4 says SCU. This is their predictions. SCU, Mox and Kingston, Britt, Cody, and the Pinnacle. I would say I agree on that. I think, to be honest, the outcomes are relatively predictable tonight. Not a bad thing, but I think that's probably the case. Who are some returns you see, Owen? I don't think there are going to be any returns. Daniel Bryan. No, it's not going to happen. Tony Khan said the second hour is all blood and guts. Yeah, I would probably think that's the case, considering that 1 hour on the clock in terms of a wrestling program is actually 45 minutes if you take away the advertisement. So I think that's probably about right, and that's how long I see the match going for, about 45 minutes. Obviously they'll be wrestling through the commercial breaks, but I think that's about right. You have to factor in entrances and all that kind of stuff as well, and possibly a post-match angle. So I agree. I think the second match will be all blood and guts. Brian says Chelsea FA Cup. Oh, I can't talk about football, Brian. It's too much for me as a Man United fan. Not for me. Dark4 says Cody does not elevate this feud. I wish it was Pillman Jr. Long-term family story. Well, I watched part 1. I don't know if you've seen it. I watched part 1 of the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring episode because it's on YouTube on the Vice TV channel, on the Vice YouTube channel. And the second part debuts Thursday. Is it Thursday? I'm thinking of doing Dark Side of the Ring reviews for the channel. So if you want to see that, smash a like on the like button. Let me know in the live chat because I'm a huge fan. I really am a huge fan. And it's as good as you think it's going to be. The Brian Pillman part 1 is awesome. And I am familiar with the Brian Pillman story, obviously. I think a lot of people are. But it's really, really good. The episodes that I always really look forward to, though, for Dark Side of the Ring are the ones that I'm not totally familiar with. So when one of my favorite episodes last season was Herb Abrams. I didn't know that much about the UWF and his story, but I thought that was amazing. I honestly was totally blown away by that. So stories like that are the ones that I'm the most interested in. Gino Hernandez, didn't know a lot about him in season 1. Again, thought that was just so compelling. Really, really enjoyed that. So there are a few on the docket this year that I'm really excited for. So hopefully we'll probably do some reviews, I think, on here. I tried doing a watch long before last year, and I don't know if that necessarily works as much because you have to listen. So it's yeah. I think I'm gonna do the Dark Side of the Ring stuff. But we are a mere moments away from going on the air. So here we go. Blood and Guts is on the air. There you go. There's a warning. There's a TNT warning straight away saying it's going to contain violent material. So we know what we're going to get here. We're going to get violence. So we're seeing the intro for Dynamite. And we will be live on the air. So Jim Ross is welcoming us to the show. We are ready. Darth Force says that would be awesome to cover Dark Side of the Ring, though, and that's what we've got to do. Andrew Pollard says, hi, Owen. Hi, everyone. Hi, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. If you're excited for tonight's show, smash a like on the like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. As they are running through the card right now. They're running through the Blood and Guts match. Obviously, Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. We've got a fatal four-way tag team eliminator match. I thought he said elimination match for a second there. We have Britt Baker in action, of course, as I mentioned before. And we have Kenny Omega and Nakazawa against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. That's up next. So that's the first match we're going to have tonight. So we're not kicking off with Blood and Guts or anything like that. But here comes Kenny Omega. Out comes Don Callis. Is Nakazawa with Don Callis? He's carrying a laptop. He's been acting as the sort of the lackey of Kenny Omega. This is a bit strange. Obviously, you can see the double ring. I thought we were gonna get Don Callis's. Don Callis has got like this. He's doing an intro for Nakazawa as well. Don Callis has some amazing entrance music. He has it for. What's going on here? Don Callis said that Kenny Omega's not going to be able to attend. What's going on? Whoa, Don Callis has said that Nakazawa's going to wrestle the match by himself. What the hell is going on? Is this a handicap match now? So, MT Nakazawa is going to be facing Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley by himself. So they're saying that Kenny Omega is not attending. There's no way. Well, here comes Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's got the Jon Moxley accents. He's coming down the stairs. Nakazawa looks petrified. I don't blame him. Who's he talking to on the headsets? Michael Nakazawa looks like he's lucky he's wearing dark pants. It's a joke, because I think he's probably just shit himself. I would as well. Are you kidding me? Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley in a handicap match. Oh, wait a minute. There comes Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's attacking from behind. Ah, see, Don Callis. You liar. You liar, Don. You lied to us. So Kenny Omega's just attacked Eddie Kingston from behind. He attacked him actually with the championship bout. Referee rings the bell, and here we go. We've got a bit of a unique camera angle here. Obviously, because the hard cam, there's two rings, so the hard cam, they're not really using it. So this is kind of interesting in the way that they're shooting this. I think they're going to be shooting it a lot with the cameras using the floor cams as opposed to the hard cam, because the hard cam looks a bit strange actually. But Kenny Omega is here, so we're not going to get a handicap match or anything stupid like that. We are actually going to get a proper tag team match. So Omega and Nakazawa are now working over Eddie Kingston. Whips him into the corner. Nakazawa charges him in a reverse elbow. And there goes Kenny Omega with a reverse elbow of his own. They go for a double suplex, but Jon Moxley now is coming in to even the odds. Moxley's facing off against Nakazawa and Omega. Throws Nakazawa out. But Omega attacks Moxley. Andrew Pollard says, I'm great despite the ringworm. Oh, gosh. Oh, sidewalk slam by Moxley. How is cricket where you are, Owen? I don't, to be honest, Andrew, I'm not the biggest cricket guy in the world. I used to play it as a kid, but not that much. Moxley's going to go for a suicide dive onto Nakazawa and Omega. Pollard says, I'm so excited the Knights is finally here. Very exciting. Very exciting indeed. If you're excited like Andrew, smash a like on the like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Let's do a quick check to see the subscriber number that we're currently on. As Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley are now working on Nakazawa and Omega on the outside. We're currently on 3,437. Let's see if we can get to 3,440. Let's see if we can get 3 more. So you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Super chats are also open as always. You can contribute and support the channel by clicking the $sign. All contributions are very much appreciated. It's the best way to support the channel. As Moxley and Kingston are still working over Nakazawa. I mean, I don't even know if they're doing tags or whatsoever. I mean, this is kind of a pet peeve of mine. When it comes to the psychology of tag team matches, it's just non-existent. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of this location of the hard cam is gonna take some getting used to. Now, Nakazawa just hit a low blow on Eddie Kingston, but yeah, this hard cam is gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Got so many wires here. But Nakazawa is now choking out Eddie Kingston. Nakazawa's getting some offense in. I'm trying to get a good feel of the atmosphere inside Daly's place at the moment, to be honest. I'm trying to, because they said there was going to be 50% capacity tonight. It does seem to be lit a bit strangely as well. It seems very dark inside Daly's place. And we haven't had a lot of crowd shots. I want to see a good image of how many people are in attendance and feel the atmosphere. It seems to just feel a bit odd. Again, and I don't know if that's just because of the hard cam. Because the hard cam definitely does feel a bit odd. It does feel like, just by the view of it, it does feel like you're kind of watching a bit of like a house show. You know, like sometimes where they can show the footage of a house show, whether it's WWE or something like that, it does kind of feel like that a bit. I mean, I don't want to spend the whole evening comparing, Kotaro Crusher by Kenny Omega on Eddie Kingston. Gets a 2 count, though. I don't want to spend the whole night comparing AEW and their blood and guts to NXT TakeOver War Games or anything like that, because we could do it all night in terms of the comparisons. One thing I will say about WWE and their version of War Games is that the production is really slick on it in terms of the cameras to the ring, the hard camera. You couldn't tell which ring either one is in. It looks very good, and that doesn't feel to be the case here. Kenny Omega's going for some chops, and Eddie Kingston, it doesn't mean to be doing any effects. And they sound pretty rough. Literally one of those would just like destroy me. Well, Eddie Kingston's coming back with some chops of his own. Going another one on Omega. Omega's fighting back. It just seems to be firing Eddie Kingston up. They're trading off chops. It's very Japanese style. People forget that about Eddie Kingston. I mean, he might not have the best physique or anything like that, but he's got a real Japanese background. Obviously, Kenny Omega does. Omega's now goes for a moonsault off the second rope. Kingston rolls out the way, though. Remember when Kenny Omega first came? Oh, I say first came, but the first, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months or so that Kenny Omega was in AEW. And there was this so much, Kenny Omega, he's not as good as people say he is. He's not as good. He's not the Kenny Omega that was in Japan. And arguably at the moment, Kenny Omega is one of the hottest wrestlers in the world. Not the, but he's one of the best. Well, he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he's definitely red hot right now. It's just funny when you look back on it, isn't it? Moxley's now teeing off on Michael Nakazawa in the corner. Stomping a mud hole, as JR would say, and walking that dry. There's a crowd shot. We can see a bit better the crowd in attendance. Oof. Moxley uses the hair of Omega, throws him to the floor. Nakazawa's got some blood around the mouth. Oh, the shirt's gone off of Nakazawa. He's going to hit the ropes. Oh my gosh. Jon Moxley just dumped Nakazawa on his head with a German suplex. What's he going to go for? Oh, pile driver on Nakazawa. I mean, realistically, that should be it. He shouldn't kick out. Oh, Kenny Omega breaks up. Well, Eddie Kingston's just thrown Kenny Omega to the outside of the ring. And now Omega's walking around. You realise that Kenny Omega, when he was walking around the ring there's not a lot of room as well. Those two rings have taken up a lot of room. Oh, Kenny Omega can't get in the ring. Eddie Kingston's just cut him off. Okay, it looks like Omega can't get in the ring. And Moxley's got, it looks to be some form of a bulldog choke on Nakazawa. I think Omega's going to desert his tag team partner, it looks like. Kenny Omega says enough's enough. He's thrown his hands up in the air. And he's had enough. He's had enough. He's gone. Kenny Omega's left Nakazawa to the left him to the wolves. Is that a phrase? Is that a saying? Oh my gosh, what was that? It was a tag team combination by Moxley and Kingston, and it just nearly broke Nakazawa's neck. But Moxley and Kingston get the win. That's why I said Nakazawa was in there. He was in there to take the pin. That's exactly what happened, my friends. So Moxley and Kingston gets the victory. Oh, here come the Young Bucks. I mentioned this before we went on the air. The Young Bucks, are they going to be facing... What are they wearing? And Tony Schiavone says that they're dressed in someone's shower curtain. Oh, they've distracted Moxley and Kingston, and wouldn't you know it, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson have come in there, and now they're attacking Moxley and Kingston. Right, and the Elite, the Bucks, and the Good Brothers are in the ring, and they're attacking Moxley and Kingston. So I think we are obviously heading in the direction of, obviously, Kingston and Moxley facing off against the Young Bucks at some point. The Magic Killer and Jon Moxley. Now all four are just absolutely going to town on Moxley and Kingston. Maybe triple threat tag team match, a Double or Nothing. But what is Matt Jackson just slapping Moxley with his shoe, and a super kick to Jon Moxley. Eddie Kingston's going after. He's just dived after Matt Jackson. But they're calling someone out now. They're setting up someone. Oh, here comes Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's back out on the stage. He's being filmed by Brandon Cutler, it looks like, as well. His personal cameraman. Jim Ross. Jim Ross has just got this disdain for Brandon Cutler on commentary. I don't blame him. I don't blame you, Jim. But the assault continues. Now we've got the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega's in the ring, Brandon Cutler's in the ring. They've got Eddie Kingston. Oh, they're going to set Eddie Kingston up for the one-winged angel, it looks like. Kingston's up on the shoulders. Here we go. One-winged angel. One Winged Angel, and Eddie Kingston looks in a lot of pain. Nick Jackson just counted 1, 2, 3. Mac Jackson's up on the ring ropes. He looks happy. This is very NWO vibes, isn't it? This is very NWO. Which, shaky ground, TNT, NWO. But the Elite have just destroyed Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston to open the show. But there they go. There was an announcement here. It's just been announced that Hikaru Shida will be defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Britt Baker at Double or Nothing. Kind of, that's what I said, to be honest, anyway. Oh, Tony Schiavone has got a major announcement regarding the AEW World Championship tonight as to who Kenny Omega's opponent will be at Double or Nothing. Well, that's interesting. We're going to find out who's going to be competing for the World Championship tonight at Double or Nothing. But coming up next, we've got Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. Yes, this is the one we've wanted. This is one we've all been waiting for. QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes. This is one we've all been waiting for, right? Yeah, I don't know about that. What did everyone think of that as an opening segment, as an opening match? The match itself, it's nothing to write home about, obviously. And we're in a commercial break right now. But the match itself obviously was nothing to write home about. Outcome, obviously predictable. As I mentioned, that's why Michael Nakazawa was in the match. It definitely now feels like that Moxley and Kingston... Again, this is the confusing thing. I said it feels like Moxley and Kingston would be challenging for the World Tag Team Championships at Double or Nothing, but then Kenny Omega just laid out specifically Eddie Kingston. So is he going to be facing Eddie Kingston at Double or Nothing for the World Championship? We're not going to have to wait long. We're going to find out tonight. Because Tony Schiavone is going to make that announcement during the broadcast. So that's interesting. That's certainly very, very interesting. Andrew Pollard says, in the Young Bucks looking like Carol Burnett went with the wind. I saw it in the window and I couldn't resist it. LOL. Yeah, I don't know what outfits the Young Bucks were going for there. I really don't know what outfits they were going for there. I say that like I've got this amazing style, because I don't. Yeah, that was strange. It did feel, though, I mentioned this during the commentary there, and maybe this is just me being a bit, I don't know, but it did feel very NWO vibes, didn't it? When all the Elite came out and then they're dominating them and Matt Jackson's laying up on the turnbuckle and all that kind of stuff. It did feel a little bit NWO vibes on TNT. And I know, to be honest, they've kind of patterned themselves, haven't they? The Elite is kind of a play off the Click anyway, isn't it? It did kind of feel a little bit like that. Again, which I say, shaky ground, be careful, learn from history. Aubrey Salmon says, when can we see the show? Well, obviously, I love this. I love this every time we do watch-alongs here on the channel. There are always people that come in the live chat, and they always say, oh, show us the show. And I wish I could. I really wish I had the pull to be able to show AEW Dynamite on YouTube as an exclusive broadcast rights from AEW. It just isn't the case. It isn't the case, guys. But, if you subscribe, you never know. You never know. Mick Thompson says, what happened to Nikki Cross? Still on the roster. WWE just, once they decided that Alexa Bliss wasn't going to be a tag team partner, they weren't interested in using her anymore. Unfortunately, it's as simple as that. It's really unfortunate, and I wish it wasn't like that, because I think she's a tremendous talent. But she's still on the roster. There's nothing like that. So we're back from commercial. And I guess here comes QT Marshall. And obviously he's accompanied by the Factory, because everyone gets a faction in AEW. It's a little known fact, I've got a faction in AEW. The Church Hills. This is my faction in AEW. Owen's Odyssey. Owen's faction. Let me know my faction name in the live chat. Do it through Super Chat as well. You can click the $, contribute to the channel that way. But here comes QT Marshall. Looks like they're going to be having the match in the other ring. The first match was on the ring to the left. This match is going to be on the ring to the right. Maybe the hard camera might look a bit better in this one. But yeah, no, I really don't have a ton of interest for this match. I will be brutally honest. I really don't. Just because, again, it feels very self-serving, this one. And like I said, Cody Rhodes, you would think at this point he would get some new friends. But here comes Cody. He's got Arn Anderson by his side. Oh, I forgot. I remember I was criticizing it earlier, and I always forget it. It's that really bad version of Cody Rhodes' entrance scene with Snoop Dogg. It's awful. It's just it's terrible. It's so bad. But here we go. We're starting off hot. Cody Rhodes is going straight after QT Marshall. There's no way QT wins this one, surely. Uppercut by Cody. Shades of his older brother Goldust. Cody's going to go for a suplex on QT. They go delayed standing vertical. Oh, lands on his stomach. Does QT. Cody's going to go for... I thought he was going to take off the weight belt. Oh, he has. He's going to take off the weight belt. Is he going to go for... and give QT Marshall a whipping? I think QT Marshall's got one of his own. I think QT Marshall's going to attack Cody with the weight belt. Oh, just whips Cody Rhodes on the back. And Bryce Remsburg takes QT's weight belt away from him. It's 20 past 1 in the morning. It is early. But QT's got Cody Rhodes in the corner now. Crowd just sound a bit louder here, a bit more red hot. Oh, beautiful shades of Jack Briscoe. The roll up in the corner. Oh, goes for a drop toe hold, but QT manages to pull away. Oh, QT with a chop to the chest, or the trading chops again. It's like the Eddie Kingston spot all over again. Cody with some chops to the chest of QT. Oof. A rake to the eyes by Cody Rhodes. What a heel. And now he's going to go a back rake. Rake to the back. I remember I used to do that back rake thing all the time on SmackDown vs. Raw. I used to love the back rake. It's like the least devastating move, isn't it? I know the whole point is meant to be like scratching down someone's back. If someone tries to do that to you, but like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, beautiful. QT walks up the top rope and hits a belly to belly to Cody from the top rope. That was nice. I was going to go for a deadlift German suplex. Nice. Impressive by QT Marshall. That belly to belly from the top rope is pretty sweet, and so was the deadlift German. Give QT credit there. That was pretty cool. QT's stalking Cody on the outside of the ring now. Oh, forearm to the face of Cody Rhodes. So we've still got the wrestlers surrounding the ring, as we've had on Dynamite for a long time now. Again, I haven't seen many shots. I've seen a few shots of the crowd, but I want to see a big crowd shot. QT's confronting the Enforcer. Oh, just shoved down in the face. Punch him. Oh, it does. Arn Anderson punched QT in the face. But there you go. Arn's going to be... oh, no. What the hell's Arn doing? Arn's trying to squish... He's grinding QT Marshall's head up against the ring post. It's not a disqualification, but they're throwing Arn Anderson to the back. I mean, it should be, to be honest... Let's be honest here. As we're in picture at the moment, let's be honest here. That should be a disqualification. That should be a disqualification. I know people will say, "Well, you don't want to ruin a big match," all that kind of stuff. In the letter of the law, that's a DQ. Any day of the week, that's a DQ. But Arn's been sent to the back, which is interesting because you would think then that's going to play into the finish. Obviously, it has to play into the finish of this match. They don't just send people to the back for no reason, right? I think that's probably the case. So Arn Anderson's been sent to the back. As I mentioned, we're in picture right now. And QT is now in control. I guess this is going to be interesting, actually. Just thinking ahead to the Blood and Guts main event match. The Blood and Guts match tonight. I guess, how often are they going to go to picture-in-picture in the main event? If they really want to ensure that people don't tune away and people are just completely locked in for the entirety of the main event, then you would think that every time they go to commercial, they continue for picture-in-picture. To make it feel like a legitimate sporting match, you would think that makes the most sense, wouldn't it? That's because that's always the problem with pro wrestling, isn't it? Is why would you take a commercial in a match knowing that the match could end at any period of time? It breaks the fourth wall, if you will. It breaks the fourth wall because it tells a casual viewer that it's scripted because it won't end during a commercial. I don't know if any company would ever do this, but you would hope to see it just once, that a match ends during a commercial break. And I know people would say, well, that's stupid, but you don't see the finish. But it upholds the integrity of the illusion, doesn't it? It upholds the integrity of the illusion in the sense that a match can end at any period of time, and you don't know when it's going to end. And maybe it's the right thing to do. I don't know. You see, these are the existential discussions that we have when we watch an episode of Dynamite. Sometimes this is what QT Marshall does to me. I start talking about the illusion of pro wrestling and all that kind of stuff. Ugh. Nevertheless, in the picture-in-picture, QT Marshall is still working over Cody Rhodes. But I mentioned I still think Cody leaves this one victorious because that's what Cody does in these feuds. Once he gets turned on by his friends. Although he didn't beat MJF. He lost to him and then just... he lost to him. To be fair, he dominated him in the match, but he didn't win. He lost to him and then they just moved on because he had to win the TNT Championship. John Cena advert during an episode of Dynamite. John Cena to AEW confirmed. John Cena, isn't there something like John Cena hasn't had a singles match inside of a WWE ring on WWE television in like 3 years at this point? How insane is that? His last one was that mixed tag with Becky Lynch on SmackDown. He hasn't had another one since, which is madness. But we're back, double crossbody by Cody and QT. As both men are down in the ring at this point, both Cody and QT. But Cody and QT trading shots. A right hand by QT. They're doing the boo yeah punches in the face. Oof. QT Marshall's got a decent right hand. I'll give him that one. A good working punch. Best working punch ever Scott Hall's, eh? Those are facts as well. QT with a boot to the face of Cody Rhodes, though. QT's hits the ropes. Oof. Shoulder to the gut, though. Noob & Co says, hello, how you doing? I'm good, my friend. How are you doing? Hope you're enjoying Blood and Guts. Oh, QT, what the hell is going on? QT just pulled his trunks down. They had to... DDT by Cody Rhodes. Oh, QT just got his ass out on TNT. They had to blur it out. I think the censors for TNT were and Warner Media were worried about, blood and violence tonight, not worried about seeing QT's ass. Now Jim Ross has just done a million, butt puns. I had to be careful what I said there. What was that spot anyway? Why did they just? Because they haven't really. What did that achieve? Of just QT's ass coming out. Cody hits a moonsault off the top, kind of. Ooh, gets a 2 count. Wasn't the perfect pretty moonsault by Cody. It was kind of the half one. It was like the Vader moonsault. I'm still trying to get over what that spot was. What was that spot? Goes for a disaster kick. Does Cody misses though? Duck under by QT. Oh, back elbow by Cody Rhodes. Going to go for it again. Oh, he went for a Cody cutter. Oh, crossroads by QT. Cody Rhodes gets hit with a crossroads. Oh, kicks out. QT looks has a look of desperation on his face, wondering what he's meant to do. QT Marshall is taken off the elbow pads, looks frustrated here. Oh, he's setting up for a diamond cutter. He's going to go for a diamond cutter. Oh, it's a backslide by Cody instead. Rolls through. QT's going to go for a power bomb. Doesn't get Cody up properly. Oh, he botched it. I'll get him up again now this time. Buckle bomb. Oof. Buckle bomb by QT. I was going to go for a tombstone. Oh, Cody's rolled through. Cody rolls through. He's going to get in a tombstone of his own. Oh, in comes QT again. QT. Oh, they've rolled through again. 2 reversals. Cirque du Soleil. Cody hits a tombstone of his own. Tombstone by Cody Rhodes. Oh, QT kicks out. Nice little spot there. I enjoyed that. Now Cody Rhodes. Now we're setting up. We've seen diamond cutters, crossroads, tombstones. Feels like a weird version of Create a Wrestler on SmackDown vs. Raw. Cody's going to go for a crossroads. Hits it. This should be it. Cody hits crossroads on QT. Wow, QT kicked out. Man, didn't see that one coming. QT Marshall just kicked out Cody Rhodes' finish. Man, Cody's doing everything to get his friend over, isn't he? Whoa. He's doing everything possible. Don't worry, QT. I'll get you over, brother. I'll make sure I'll get you over. I'll make you into a star. I'll make you into a star. Crowd's chanting QT sucks. He's helped QT to his feet. Oh, QT just gave him a middle finger. Now Cody's going to go through. Figure 4 leg locks locked in. Is QT going to tap out? Is this going to be it? Oh, Cody Rhodes is also... Is Cody Rhodes bleeding? That's it. He's going to tap out. He does. QT taps out and Cody Rhodes is bleeding. It wouldn't be... What happened to Cody's face? Cody's bleeding loads. Where did that blood come from? I don't know where that blood came from at all. Cody's got some blood coming out. It looks like his eye. I don't know where that blood happened from, but he's suddenly his eye's just absolutely peeing with blood. I don't know where that came from, though. Well, here comes Anthony Ogogo. It wouldn't be a Cody Rhodes match without blood, right? Big Cody Rhodes matches. Get some colour, brother. Here comes Anthony Ogogo. Anthony Ogogo just punched Cody in the gut. This goes with a kidney punch. And Anthony Ogogo's going to bury Cody in the Union Jack. Anthony Ogogo's dressed up like he's from... Oof. But it looks like maybe we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. Cody Rhodes is literally turning into full John Cena. Up-and-coming youngster. Cody Rhodes going to beat him. Cody knows what to do. He's worked with Cena all of these years. He knows exactly what to do. They're going to a replay of last week where Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin attacked Sting and... Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, rather, attacked Darby Allin and Sting. Noob & Co says, doing good, just partaked in a live Q&A from Jersey and SCW today. Hope you enjoyed it, Noob. So we're going to have an interview with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky's embracing his inner Riddler. He's literally ripping off Jim Carrey Riddler. Scorpio Sky just called Sting a mosquito. Scorpio Sky's going to kill Sting, the mosquito. He's called him Steve. How dare you, Scorpio? Call him Steve? He's Sting. Oh, Scorpio Sky said he's the franchise now, bitch. He's serious because he said bitch, which made people ooh. Ethan Page is such a good promo. He's such a great promo. Ethan Page says they should talk about Sting's medical history. Oh, Ethan Page talking about his history of Darby Allin, of course. Of course, he does have history of Darby Allin. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, Darby Allin just attacked Ethan Page. They were up in the rafters, and Darby Allin just attacked Ethan Page. That was pretty badass. He just dove him from nowhere. I think he's going to throw him. He's going to throw him off the rafters. Ethan Page and where the hell's Darby? Well, where's Sting? That's the most. Oh, coffin drop. That was awesome. Oh my gosh, what was that? Scorpio Sky just smashed the trash can on the head of Darby Allin. Well, where's Sting? Darby Allin's attacking him on his own. You should have brought your dad with you, Darby. What are they doing? Oh, they're shoving Darby's head into Scorpio Sky's spiked Louis Vuittons. Never seen anyone use Louis Vuittons as a weapon before. Oh my gosh. Darby Allin just got thrown down some concrete steps by Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. And Darby Allin takes some unbelievable bumps, man. He's just out of his mind. He's doing coffin drops from stands. He's just been thrown down some concrete steps. Live on TV. I broke his arm. His head's all purple. Oh my gosh. The question is, where was Sting? Where was Sting? Well, that was a pretty crazy bump. That was nuts. Noob & Co says Darby almost died before Shotzi Blackheart. I mean, seriously, last night main event is crazy and brutal. That main event was something else on NXT last night. NXT was something else in general last night. That main event was awesome. That opening match with Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff was amazing as well. NXT moving away from Wednesday nights was the best thing for them. Absolutely is the best thing for them because they found their mojo. Again, they found their identity, which they'd lost. They lost their identity when they moved to Wednesday nights on the USA Network and they were competing with AEW. They tried to change. They tried to conform to what they thought was going to beat AEW, and they turned into a Raw and SmackDown light, and they lost their identity. But last night, you got to give credit to NXT. It was a good show last night. It definitely was, and they've kind of found their groove back. They've no doubt found their groove back. The picture-in-picture, we see like two. Forget it. But the picture-in-picture, what's funny is that Darby Allin's just been thrown down a flight of stairs. He might have a broken arm. He might have some serious injury, something like that. First advert, Arby's. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like, find the right tone. That certainly isn't the right tone of someone. Oh, they're talking with a really serious voice. JR, Shivani, and Excalibur, you know, talking like this. It's a really serious injury. We have to be really careful. Suddenly it's like, Arby's, yes, get that hunger struck off. What? But back from the commercial. Oh, we're going to be back from the commercial for a second. Well, they were in picture-in-picture, and now they've come out of picture-in-picture, and now there's an advert for Captain Marvel. Which I don't know how many people here are Marvel fans, but they did Marvel Studios did a thing for all of the films that are going to be coming out in Phase 4, and I am proper hyped There was a trailer for Loki today as well, which I'm pretty hyped about as well. That looks pretty badass. So Marvel are just, I mean, they're unbelievable, aren't they? They really are. So I'm very, very excited. Very excited about the Loki TV series, I must say. So if hour 2, if we're, what they were saying, if hour 2 is meant to be all blood and guts, the match, then we've only got 20 minutes left of this first hour. It's flown by. So what have we had so far? We've had the Omega Tag match. We've had Cody versus QT. We've had the promo from Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. We've got a promo from Miro coming up. We've got the announcement regarding who's going to be challenging for the AEW World Championship. We've got Britt Baker in action. And we've got the 4-way tag team match. We've got 4 things over the course of the next 20 minutes. So this is going to be, we're going to be squeezing stuff in. Timing's going to be tough for this one. But here comes Britt Baker. Britt Baker's, and they announced obviously earlier that Britt Baker is going to be challenging Hikaru Shida, double or nothing for the AEW Women's World Championship, which I think we know means that it has to mean Britt Baker wins the AEW Women's World Championship, right? I mean, that's inevitable at this point. It's inevitable. But there is Britt Baker with Rebel by her side with her crutch. Be interesting to see who her opponent is. Oh, so her opponent's already there. As mentioned, it's going to be an enhancement match, yeah. It's just going to be it's just going to feature Britt Baker. Her opponent is Julia Hart. She lost her AEW debut this week on AEW Dark, apparently. So, of course, she should go straight to Dynamite, face Britt Baker, because wins and losses matter. Britt Baker just kicked to the gut of Hart. What a shove to the face as well. Oh, gets shoved back. Does Britt Baker by Hart. Darth Thor says, I hope Shida wins. Well, I mean, it's possible. Who knows? Sunday, May 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time is Double or Nothing from Daily's Place. Of course, we'll be doing a watch-along for it, so be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Noob & Co. says, will WWE write Asuka off TV? I'm thinking that Charlotte will beat her up at WrestleMania Backlash. It will give WWE 6 months for fans to return and Asuka getting her teeth fixed. Well, didn't she have the dental work? But I mean, it's a possibility. But I think they need her. They need Asuka on Monday Night Raw. Oh, air raid crash by Britt Baker on Hart. That'll be enough. I think she's going to lift the shoulders up. Yeah. You can always tell by the way they sit down for the cover. Got to go for lockjaw, and she's got the glove on as well. Lockjaw, and Hart taps out, and Britt Baker gets the victory ahead of her match at Double or Nothing. Well, at least they do the lockjaw in a sanitary fashion with the glove. But that was expected. That was expected. As we're going to a Technique by Taz video package, which is about Christian Cage, about involving the kill switch. They're talking about the frog splash. It's still, isn't it crazy to me that it's still crazy that Christian Cage is now competing in AEW, and he just looks great. Well, the Christian Cage always looked in great shape. Obviously, once he was outside the ring, he put on a bit of weight. That was true, but he no doubt was in great shape. So I guess Christian's stuck in this feud with Team Taz now. So maybe Christian Cage is going to be facing off against Brian Cage. A battle of the cages at Double or Nothing. What was crazy last week, obviously we opened the show last week, Brian Cage just convincingly defeated Hangman Page, didn't he? Which was surprising. So we've got the 4-way tag team match. Obviously, the winners of this match get a future AEW World Tag Team Championship match. I think the SCU win this one. It feels like they are rushing for time. Because, again, that second hour is all about blood and guts. So they're getting through everything pretty damn quickly. But here come Jurassic Express. Here come Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Marco Stunt's there as well. I know that Jurassic Express have the new entrance music. It's I don't know the name of the song. Send it to you. Tarzan something. I know it's like a classic song, but I actually prefer the AEW version. As you can see, shots of the crowd. Here come SCU, who, of course, if they lose tonight, they're going to split up, which means they're not going to lose. Because it's not the right time. You can always tell, can't you? Because it's not the right time. I'll tell you what, bless Christopher Daniels. I mean, he's still competing at a high level, isn't he? I mean, how old is Christopher Daniels now? He's definitely closing on a 50. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but he still competes at a high level, doesn't he? Here comes the Acclaimed. I'm a big fan of the Acclaimed. I really am. I say he's like 50. He's 51. Christopher Daniels. I think he's head of talent relations for AEW as well. Oh, Dark Side of the Ring reference by Max Caster. That was pretty dope. I'm a big fan of the Acclaim, man. Max Caster's raps are just they're so good. They're so good. I said, I know I don't want to be one of those like WWE people that's just looking to split up tag teams before they've got together, but Max Caster's got so much potential. So much potential. He really does. And he's proved it. Obviously, when he's at Revolution, he was part of the ladder match for the TNT Championship opportunity, and he really is something else. But SCU win this one, I think. SCU win this one. It's inevitable that SCU win this. If they ended the tag team partnership of SCU just on blood and guts, that's not a random episode of Dynamite, I know, but I don't think that happens. I think SCU wins and they face SCU win and they'll face, is it the Young Bucks next week? Because obviously it's a big episode of Dynamite next week. You got an IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match. So I think SCU win, and then they have their final match, of course, next week. Still to come, of course, Blood and Guts, the main event, the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button too if you're excited, as Jungle Boy and Kazarian are squaring off in the middle of the ring right now. And an Oklahoma roll. Oh, Rick Knox didn't have the count there. He was busy putting his hand up in the air like an idiot. But Max Caster, Platinum Max, tags himself in. Platinum Max he's more than platinum. He's money. This is, I mean, what's more valuable, platinum or money? Either way, Platinum Max is money. Oh, right hand by Kazarian to Brian Pillman Jr. And everything's breaking down. All the tag teams are coming in the ring right now. But the Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus is a big kick to the face of Platinum Max there. As we're in picture. It's what is interesting with this right now. And again, you just try and sort of figure out where things are going right now. So obviously we're nearly 10 minutes away from 1 hour being 1 hour into the show. We know that obviously the second hour basically is blood and guts. So I mentioned it before with the Britt Baker match. And we're certainly noticing it here with that the match has just barely started. They go straight to commercial. I don't know if they're missing on time or something like that. They're certainly trying to give themselves some padding. I think they're certainly trying to be like, okay, we know that this could be a little bit tight in terms of the time. Let's get through these matches because this is the last. I don't think there's anything else that's been advertised in terms of matches before Blood and Guts. No, nothing else has been advertised. I know we've got a Miro promo, so probably we have this match. I wouldn't be surprised if we get back from break and they just go to the finish pretty much straight away. And then after that, we have the Miro promo, which is probably a pre-tape, so that probably lasts 30 seconds, a minute, and then we go straight into the Blood and Guts stuff. I think that's probably what we're looking at here. Which is exciting. I mean, realistically, that's what people are tuning in for, aren't they? They're tuning in for this main event. They're tuning in for this big match, and we're going to see something very exciting and something very special, something very, very violent and graphic. I mean, there was a disclaimer, wasn't there, at the start of the program by TNT saying that this show is going to be containing violence, and obviously it's a pro wrestling show that's going to happen anyway, but they don't do that every week. The reason they're doing it this week is because we're going to see some proper violence. We're going to see some blood. We're going to see, we're going to see violence, and that's great. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of violence? But what is everyone thinking of the show so far? What are they enjoying? Darth Thor says it looks like they have to assemble the cage. It's not over the ring. That's a good point as well. So again, when it comes back to the timing, they're obviously looking at that, and they need to give themselves the most time possible. I would think when it comes to assembling the cage, obviously they would have had several dry runs of putting up the cage in the fastest possible time. Here we go. They've got another disclaimer before the show goes back on the air. Because the show is back on the air. But it's a good point. It's a good point that it's brought up by Darth Thor there. They have to assemble the cage. They'll probably be doing that during the promo packages. WWE Awesome says, hi, how are you doing? I Fast with Bradley says, good chatting with you, Owen. I mean, good chatting with you, Bradley. Kick to the face by Daniels. Oh, and Platinum Max just hits a belly-to-back suplex on Christopher Daniels. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, button right-hand corner. Smash the like on the like button too. Brian Pillman Jr., of course, is in this match. Brian Pillman story is being featured on Dark Side of the Ring this week. First episode is available on YouTube, on the Vice YouTube channel. The second part, or the full episode, drops this Thursday, I think it is, on Vice. So that's tomorrow. Christopher Daniels looking to fight out of the corner. Daniels has been tagged in by Luchasaurus. Now Luchasaurus is clearing house, as it were, attacking both members of the Acclaimed. Oh, beautiful. Oh, German suplex has absolutely dropped Platinum Max on his head. I Fast with Bradley says, I put a message up and it disappeared. Not sure YouTube did a YouTube or I was yeeted. Anyway, I asked, and I didn't even see it, Bradley. Obviously, if you put up a message, we read it out. Didn't see anything like that. It might just be YouTube or something like that. Sometimes with these live streams, sometimes stuff like that can happen. Oof. Kazarian just got chokeslammed to the outside. Oh, tail whip kick. He was going for Anthony Bowens. Hits both members of the Acclaimed in the end. Tags in Jungle Boy. And both members of Jurassic Express got the Acclaimed up on their shoulders. Oof. It's a double team on both members of the Acclaimed. Oh, broken up by Daniels. Low bridge by Frankie Kazarian. Luchasaurus is on the outside. When comes Brian Pillman Jr. Attacks Jungle Boy. Ooh, Jungle Boy kicks out. That was close. Oh, big clothesline by Jungle Boy. Darfor says the Acclaim look like money. Easily future tag team champions. I agree. I absolutely agree. They're a money tag team. Super entertaining. I'm a big fan of their work. iFaster Bradley says, when you were about 10 or so, proper Attitude Era stuff. What was I at 10 during the Attitude Era? When I was 10, it was more Ruthless Aggression Era. All that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I mean, I really missed the peak of the Attitude Era. My first WrestleMania I watched was WrestleMania 18. Although my first pro wrestling program I watched was in 2001. So I really missed the good stuff of the Attitude Era, unfortunately. I've been back and watched it all day because I'm a wrestling nerd. Oh, Brian Pillman Jr. nearly rolled up Kazarian. Irish whip to the corner. Pillman tries to go up to the shoulder. Daniels, BME, best moonsault ever into a tombstone. And wouldn't you know it, SCU get the victory. iFast with Bradley says, I don't know what's going on with some of my messages aren't showing. I don't know. My hands are here. I'm not touching anything, Bradley. So, as expected, SCU get the victory. They're going to be facing the Young Bucks, which I think most people saw coming, didn't they? Most people thought that was going to be happening. But next week that means that it's going to be SCU's final match, because that's just what's happening. We're seeing a promo package about Jon Moxley and his IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship reign. Darfor says Pillman Jr. got some new trunks looking like his dad. I was such a Brian Pillman fan. I mean, I still am a Brian Pillman fan. It's just, even today, his work's it's so ahead of its time. As we're currently looking at the promo package for Yuji Nagata and Jon Moxley for next week. Nagata actually competed on Nitro on TNT. I mean, he's in his 50s. So this is it's going to be interesting next week, this IWGP United States Championship match. That IWGP United States Championship is so badass as well. It looks great. iFast with Bradley says, between the last two messages is asked, when you were a kid, did you wrestle along with The Rock and Steve Austin and Kane and The Undertaker, etc.? Yes. I was more of a Austin fan, and my siblings were more of a Rock fan. But yes, that was my era. So we're seeing this vignette, or this promo, if you will, this pre-tape for Jon Moxley and Yuji Nagata, which of course is next week on Dynamite for the IWGP United States Championship. So the Forbidden Door is opening, and the relationship is being built between New Japan and AEW, which is exciting, which is very exciting. First time, of course, ever that the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship has been defended outside of Japan, outside of New Japan. It's been defended on American soil before. That's kind of the point of it, isn't it? Well, the structure is up. The Blood and Guts cage has been put in place, and the match is going to be coming up next. It's a pretty badass cage. It's got a roof on it as well. Obviously, the NXT version does not have a roof on it. This is properly the War Games cage. What Tony Schiavone's there is going to do his announcement about the World Championship match. So who's it going to be? Well, here comes Tony Schiavone is going to bring out Kenny Omega. I Fast with Bradley says, what is your opinion on HBK? Best in-ring performer ever. But here comes Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion. Doesn't have his Impact titles with him. There they are. Michael Nakazawa's got them. Michael Nakazawa's carrying the Unified Impact World Championship and the AAA Mega Championship. Michael Nakazawa's never carried so much gold. Look at him. He's buzzing. That looks to be a decent-sized crowd there. So who do we think the opponent's going to be? I mean, is it Eddie Kingston? Is it Christian Cage? Is it Moxley and Kingston? Is it Moxley, Kingston, and Cage? Who's it going to be? Omega says, how many people here are ready for Blood and Guts? I am. I just want to know who this opponent's going to be. Then we can move on to the Blood and Guts match. So who's it going to be? Tony. Tony's got all the answers. One thing they do need to fix is obviously with the microphone, you can hear an echo in the arena, and it's very distracting. So what is going on here? Omega says he doesn't want to be here at all. He wants to be told who his opponent is. Who's his opponent? Whoa. That's surprising. Next week it's going to be Pac versus Orange Cassidy in an eliminator match with the winner facing Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. That's interesting. Didn't see that one coming. Kenny Omega versus Pac. They do have history. He has beaten Kenny Omega before. He beat Kenny Omega All Out. Made him tap at All Out in 2019. That's surprising. I mean, Pac versus Kenny Omega will be a lot of fun. There's no way Pac wins at all. iFaster Bradley says, who do you think would be the best performer in the United squad? I think Lingard, but forgetting him, probably Fred. It's got to be Bruno Fernandes, right? Pac versus Orange Cassidy. next week. I mean, that match would be great next week. Oh, here comes Orange Cassidy. Could you imagine Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing? I mean, it would be big. I mean, there's going to be a sold-out crowd. Who's to say? I mean, I'm saying that Pac's going to win, but who's to say Orange Cassidy doesn't win? And maybe it's going to be. I mean, maybe I was too quick to jump the gun there. I mean, I was like, oh, it's going to be Pac. Maybe it's going to be Orange Cassidy. That would be. That would certainly be interesting, wouldn't it? Kenny Omega's doing the big evil laugh. Omega versus Orange Cassidy. That would be interesting. I mean, I'm warming to it already. Crowd's red hot as well for Orange Cassidy. Red hot. I think we're going to get Omega versus Orange Cassidy at Double or Nothing. I mean, that could be really interesting. He says Orange Cassidy is a feel-good wrestler. I say it's a unique feud. I haven't really thought about it before. Orange Cassidy, Kenny Omega. They're going with the Daniel Bryan line. They're saying that Orange Cassidy will never be championship material. So maybe Orange Cassidy does win next week. Well, Kenny Omega's going to try and take Orange Cassidy's sunglasses off. Well, he just touched Orange Cassidy's sunglasses. Took the sunglasses off. I don't know what's going on in this segment at this point. He's just taken off Orange Cassidy's sunglasses. Now he's talking about making sunglasses popular. I thought we were going to get to the Blood and Guts main event. I think Omega's going to squish his glasses, isn't he? Is that the angle? He says that Orange Cassidy took away his valuable time, so he's taken his glasses, he's put them on Michael Nakazawa. Michael Nakazawa's got the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the Impact World Championship, the AAA Mega Championship, and Orange Cassidy sunglasses. Where is this segment going? I have no idea what's going on with this segment right now. Kenny Omega's just rambling on at this point. If you were Impact Wrestling as well, surely you would have a bit of an issue of the Impact World Championship being carried by Nakazawa and not being carried by Kenny Omega. Well, they're going straight to break. They're going straight to break because we're going to come back and we're going to have the Blood and Guts match. I think that's because Kenny Omega maybe took too long with that promo because he took ages. He took ages with that promo. We get a Dark Side of the Ring promo right now. I think that segment was definitely all about seeing if people want to see Omega versus Orange Cassidy or not. And it sounds like the crowd does. And obviously they're going to have a sold-out crowd there, or capacity crowd, 5,500 people there at Double or Nothing in May, later this month. So I'm thinking we're probably going to see Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega, which is exciting. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are one subscriber away from 3,440, which was the goal tonight. So if you haven't already, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You can be the 3,440th subscriber, and we can hit our target for tonight. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. If you're excited for this Blood and Guts main event, smash a like on the like button too. Really just help us out here on YouTube. Go at the rankings, get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. Of course, super chats as well are open. You can contribute and support the channel by contributing via the $sign. If you do, we will make it a talking point going forward on the stream. I Faster Bradley says, I meant as a wrestler. Who would be the best in the ring? My fault. Well, in the Man United squad? That's a good question. Who would be the best in the Man United squad as a wrestler? I don't know. That is a good one. Harry Maguire. No, I have no idea. I thought we were meant to be getting a Miro promo. What has happened to that? Once again, and I said this numerous times during this stream. I said this numerous times during the show, that it felt like they were rushing things because they were running out of time, and I think that's probably been the case. I think they have run out, or they are running out of time. Maybe they'll try and squeeze in that Miro promo. Maybe it's just been cut. That Omega promo, I really liked it, and I did really like, and I'm not against the idea of Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy. I think that could be a lot of fun at Double or Nothing. Orange Cassidy doesn't win. There's no chance he wins, but it could be a lot of fun. But it did feel a bit long, didn't it? It did feel a bit long and a bit rambly. And especially when, they need this time. The time is precious. Oh, here comes Miro. So we are going to get the Miro promo. So Miro's coming out. We've got about 45 minutes left of the broadcast. So how long is this going to last? Maybe 5 minutes? 5 minutes, because they want to get through to this. They're running out of time. Maybe I'm just paranoid. I'm just paranoid about time and all that kind of stuff. Miro looks unbelievable, by the way. Physically, looks incredible. Oh, he's taking the microphone away from Shivani. He said that he told the world that nobody's going to distract his destiny. What's he got with him? Miro says that he's got a signed contract. Ooh. Next week, Miro's going to be facing Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Well, this is... Of course, Darby Allin got thrown down the stairs earlier. I mean, to be honest, this is a tough one. Who wins next week? Miro should win. Miro should win. They've given Darby Allin an out here. They've given Darby Allin a way out because he got thrown down the stairs earlier. And I think that opens then up for Darby Allin and Sting to face Ethan Page, and for Darby Allin and Sting to face Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky at Double or Nothing. Opens up Miro to be TNT champion. Who would he feud with? I don't know. But I think this means that Miro is going to win the TNT championship next week. That's a mega main event. What a big show next week. You've got Orange Cassidy versus Pac, AEW World Championship Eliminator match. You've got the TNT Championship. You've got the World Tag Team Championships on the line next week. It's going to be SCU's final match. You've also got the IWGP United States Championship match next week. What a show. That is such a stacked show. Phew. Cody Rhodes is going to make his announcement for Double or Nothing next week. That is a stacked card. That is a really stacked card. I mean, you could argue. I mean, it's probably it's a better match card than this card for Blood and Guts. The main thing with this card, is the Blood and Guts main event. But next week's show, man, what a card. Darth Thor says, new champ next week. Next week is a massive show. I agree. I absolutely agree. It's Blood and Guts. They're going to show the rules. Blood and Guts begins with one member from each team for a 5-minute period. After 5 minutes have expired, one member of the Pinnacle will enter. Oh, that was quick. I didn't get a chance to read it. Once all 10 men have entered the match, the Blood and Guts match will officially begin. The only way to win is to make your opponent submit or surrender. So no pinfalls. It's submit or surrender. Interesting. Referees will be stationed around the cage. So no pinfalls. Submit or surrender. So here comes the Pinnacle. Who's going to be the first person in? Remember, they do have the man advantage. But they're all coming out. And obviously, we'll see who's going to be the first person in. But they've all got matching white gear on. Even Tully Blanchard's got a white suit. It looks like the Colonel. He actually does. He looks like the Colonel, especially with his white goatee. I mean, he's looking full on like the Colonel. And just to shove someone in the ringside area. So we're now in commercial break. And once we're back, we're going to have Blood and Guts. Exciting. It's main event time. It's funny because it's main event time, but it's only like there's still 45 minutes left of the broadcast, but you know that they're struggling for time. They're like, oh. Darth Force says, love the all-white. I agree. The all-white gear looks great. It really does. So let's have some last-minute predictions. Who do we think is leaving Blood and Guts as the winner? Who do we think's leaving the victor? Is it going to be the Pinnacle or is it going to be the Inner Circle? Because that's what's going to be. It's going to be fascinating. But yeah, the all white gear. I'm a fan of that. I think it looks awesome. But I'm still trying to get over that the announcements for the show next week. That Dynamite next week is stacked. It really is loaded, isn't it? It's a loaded show. And again, it feels like I don't know. It feels like they're sort of rushing a little bit. They're like, we need the time, and they do obviously need the time. But in reality, they still have like 42 minutes left of the broadcast. But that's the nature of these kind of matches, isn't it? That's the nature of having these kind of big set piece matches, because you have to ensure that you have enough time, especially when you have a certain scenario whereby they enter after a certain amount of time. You have to make sure definitely you get that right. But this is the one that everyone's tuned in for, isn't it? Everyone's tuned in for this main event. This is the one that everyone's excited about. It's what I'm very excited about, because I think we're going to get a really interesting finish. I think we don't just see someone... I don't think we just see one team submit or surrender. I think we see something happen in particular. Mick Thompson says, what happens to Jeff Hardy? He's been losing. He has. He lost to Jinder Mahal on main event. I don't know. He signed a contract with WWE last year, so he's locked in for a while. But we're back. It's Blood and Guts time, and here comes the Inner Circle. the Inner Circle, obviously Jericho, Santana, Ortiz, Guevara. Santana and Ortiz have their face painted like the dead presidents again. That looks so awesome. The pyro's going off. They haven't got a lot of room for it to go off, but it's still going off. But Santana or Ortiz, they got the dead president's face paint on, which always looks great. Crowd are singing along to Judas, which is awesome. You can hear the crowd proper sing along, which is we've had the crowd sing along, but this is proper crowd sing along, which is exciting to see. So there does seem to be a decent crowd size there, in fairness. Jericho looks like he's wearing the same attire that Daniel Bryan did when he was part of the Wyatt family. Crowd are red hot. Crowd are red hot and ready. Santana and Ortiz look fired up. Santana certainly does. JK looks like he's already bleeding on the side of his head. I don't know what's going on there. Is JK already bleeding? Sammy Guevara's going in first. And it's Dax Harwood. Looks like he's going to be in there. A crowd are red hot for this. Crowd are red hot. Oh, Guevara just dived onto him. And Sammy Guevara starting things out. I still had remember Sammy Guevara to turn on the Inner Circle, so he would work the whole match and turn on them. So maybe that doesn't happen. We'll have to wait and see. How great is it for Jim Ross to be calling War Games again? That's pretty cool as well. Shoulder tackle by Dax Harwood. He's going to go for, leapfrog. Or backflip and a drop kick. And there's no doubt how talented Sammy Guevara is. Oh, beautiful. Oh, spine buster by Dax Harwood. I went for a pin. You can't have pinfalls. Submit or surrender, you stupid idiot. His instinct. He's like Randy Savage going for a cover in the Royal Rumble. Apparently this is Sammy Guevara's first match since February of this year. I did not realize that. That is commitment to the storyline. Crowd are red hot for the Inner Circle. Again, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone calling War Games match again. How great is that? I remember that Dusty Rhodes made this match. Oh, Sammy Guevara just threw Dax Harwood into the camera. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes, remember, created this match. So it only makes sense that it's involved in a promotion used by the Rhodes. Guevara and Harwood are up on the top rope. They're trying to throw each other into the cage. I think when the FTR, when they wanted to leave WWE, they wanted to be involved in stuff like this. There's no doubt about that, is there? Oof. Guevara and Harwood, they're balancing on the top rope. Oh. Harwood, he meant to land on his groin. He meant to go for a nut shot and he didn't. He kind of just landed on his knee. That was awkward. That was nasty. Now Guevara's working on Harwood's face, it looks like. Remember, this first bit of action lasts for 5 minutes. It's 5-minute intervals. Well, it's 5 minutes and then... Oh, Dax Harwood's got colour. I told you this is what we're going to get. I told you we were going to get blood. It's in the name. Dax Harwood's already bleeding. This is going to get messy. So we're under 30 seconds until someone from the Pinnacle comes in. Gosh, now Dax Harwood's ass is out. That's twice. That's 2 behinds that have been seen on this show. Oh, kick to the face of Dax Harwood. I think Shawn Spears is going to come in next. Guevara's going to go for a springboard. Double springboard or a cutter. That was nice. I mean, Dax Harwood's bleeding a lot already. He really is bleeding a lot. In comes Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears comes in with a chair. He's brought a chair in. That Pinnacle white gear is pretty badass, I gotta say. Oh, beautiful set-out powerbomb of Shawn Spears. That was nice. What have they got on the chair? Is that a Canadian flag? Obviously, Shawn Spears is from Niagara Falls. Oof. Oh, chair shot to the head. I don't like that. Don't like that. Shawn Spears just hit a chair shot to the head of Sammy Guevara. Chair shots to the head aren't for me anymore. We know what happens. We know what happens with chair shots to the head. We know about concussions. Stop trying to make them work. They tried to make it work in the past with Cody Rhodes and the chair shot. It didn't work. He got hurt. Let's not do chair shots to the head. I don't care if you get hands up as well. Not a fan of that. Dax Harwood's bleeding significantly. I think Sammy Guevara's got colour as well. But here comes Ortiz. Ortiz is coming in for the inner circle. He's coming with a steel chair. Throws a steel chair and now he's on fire now. Ortiz is going after Harwood and Spears. Crowds are red hot. Rolls through. Clothesline. Yeah, Guevara's busted open. So we've got 2 people already busted open. We've got 4 people in the match. 2 of them are bleeding already. Oh, just jams the chair into the throat of Shawn Spears. Oh my gosh, just threw the chair at the head of Dax Harwood. Again, chairs to the head. Let's not be doing that. Oh, Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara balanced on the top rope. What is going on here? Oh, chair shot. Oh, Spanish fly. Oh my gosh. Spanish fly by Sammy Guevara from one rope to the other. And Dax Harwood and Ortiz just beating the shit out of each other. Our crowd are going insane for this. The crowd are red hot. Oh my God. It's awesome to hear. Oh, Guevara botched. He slipped. They had a spot where he was gonna spring shot, and he just foul. That was nasty. I'm telling you, everyone's gonna be bleeding. Everyone's gonna be bleeding. I need to be careful. Obviously, Guevara fell off the top rope. He might have hit his head there. Cash Wheeler's going to come in next, it looks like. In comes Wheeler. God, he fell over coming into the ring. Oh my God. Jumps in with a clothesline. He's flown in. I would say slow down, Cash. You don't need to be that quick. My concern would be, Guevara when he came off the top rope. I hope he didn't hurt his head or anything like that, because, I mean, he ate it. Oh, assisted brainbuster by FTR, and that's on Ortiz. Oh, Shawn Spears just threw Sammy Guevara into the cage. I think someone might need to double check on Sammy Guevara. I mean, he ate shit when he did that botch and he fell over. I mean, it looked like he landed like head first onto the canvas, and that's one quick way of getting a concussion. Oh my God! Shawn Spears is just throwing around Guevara again. Spears is going for a sharpshooter. It looks like a gory special. Oh my gosh. Onto Ortiz. Oh, he's falling between the ring and the cage. What the hell happened there? So the cage is kind of over the ring, and Ortiz is actually like squished. Man, that was nasty. And this is chaotic, to say the least. In comes Santana. Santana's in now. So we've got the two tag teams and I guess the mid-carders in Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara in the ring. And Cash Wheeler's just falling all over the place. And Santana's got some fire. He's all fired up. Oh, beautiful Uranagi by Santana. Beautiful backdrop by Santana too. I'm going to go to commercial now. But they're going to picture in commercial. Oh, Santana just got thrown into the cage and he's fallen down now. So just like Ortiz fell down the side of the ring, so has Santana. And during Blood and Guts, we've got a John Cena appearance once again. I mean, I think Sammy Guevara looks all right now. It doesn't look. There was a period of time there for a brief second where I was a bit like, man, he looks a bit concussed, but I think he's okay now. But that was nasty. That was nasty for a brief second there. That was rough. But this has been everything I think everyone expected it would be. Remember, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. You can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. If you're enjoying Blood and Guts, smash a like on the like button too. It really does help us out here on YouTube. Got the rankings, get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But I mean, this match is on fire. And I'm like I said before, I have no doubt in my mind this match is going to be crazy. I think Wardlow's just come into the match. I can see in the picture-in-picture that Wardlow's come in. Wardlow's in. He's just kind of standing there, it looks like. I don't know what that means. He's inviting the whole inner circle to face off against him. He's got the singlet going on, which looks, to be honest, pretty badass. And now we have Stone Cold on an advert as well. We have Stone Cold on the advert. We've had Ric Flair. We've had John Cena. but we're back. So Wardlow is in the match. And, Santana's got thrown into the cage. Oh my God. Sammy Guevara has just eaten shit a couple of times when he's flown into the cage. I think Jake Hager's going to come in next. I'm convinced Jake Hager's already... Is that already blood on the side of his head? But in comes Jake Hager. Oof. Well, I think Cash Wheeler's bleeding as well. So we got Harwood, Wheeler all bleeding. We've got Guevara bleeding. Oh my God, he just kicked Cash Wheeler straight in the face. That was nasty. Gonna go for a Vader bomb. Nice. Goes for a kick. Oh, he's got the ankle lock. The ankle lock on Shawn Spears. I'll tell you what, Cash Wheeler is, bloody as something else. Oh, Jake Hager's drawn a line. Looks like Hager and Wardlow are going to face off. Here we go. The prison uniforms that the Inner Circle are wearing are pretty badass. Oh my gosh, they just nearly knocked each other out. Big sweaty men are brawling right now. Hager hits the ropes. Oh, lands on his feet. That was nice. Oh, he's got Wardlow by the man bun. Oh, Hager goes into the cage. Sort of forget how big Hager is. He's deceptively big. He really is. Hager and Wardlow just brawling at this point. Oh, fingers in the eyes, rake to the eyes. Oof. In comes the final man of the Pinnacle, that being MJF. MJF's going to make his way into the ring now. Here he comes. MJF's coming into some pretty major heat right now. The crowd are all over MJF, as you would expect. Oh, he's got to go into the ring with Hager, and basically everyone's saying no, or Wardlow chop block on Hager. MJF's now posing in the corner. Jericho's going to be the final man in from his team. MJF's talking trash to Jericho. I mean, there is a lot of blood on the canvas, I must say. I mean, and to be honest, a lot of that's from Cash Wheeler. I told you, Cash Wheeler is bleeding. I mean, seriously bleeding. It doesn't look like he can even see out of his eye. He's bleeding that much. Crowd is still chanting for the Inner Circle. And I'll tell you, Cash Wheeler is bleeding. You could tell though he came in like a house on fire. He was fired up, and you could tell that he's gigged himself pretty hard. But in comes Jericho. So everyone's now in the ring. The all-out assault can begin. It's submit or surrender. They had to get Santana to come back over. It's submission or surrender. Both stables or factions are in opposite rings. And they're all flying into the middle. Here we go. To be fair, this match has been badass. Jim Ross is worried about rolling an ankle or twisting a knee. Look at Cash Wheeler's face. He's losing blood by the pints. every 5 seconds. Jericho's got the baseball bat. He's got Floyd. I said about Floyd earlier on, guys. Remember I said that. Shawn Spears is looking to try and climb up on the cage. Oh, Shawn Spears is being like hung. Shawn Spears is being like hung. He's got his head in this truss. Obviously, he can surrender, I guess. Oh. I don't know what that spot was. I was trying to figure out what it was for a second there. As they're going to another commercial. That's going to be the only thing that was going to hurt this match, is just having to go to commercial every 5 seconds. But that's television, unfortunately, isn't it? That's watching matches like this on television. That's part of the problem, isn't it? That you've got to go to commercial every 5 seconds, which is just annoying. Darth Thor says, really good match so far. I agree. Really good match. I felt like the first hour of the show kind of took a second to go by. It took a little bit. It felt like you just wanted to get to the main event. And now that it's here, I must say I'm very much enjoying it. Really enjoying the main event. And all of the guys, you can tell, are so fired up to be in it. They are so fired up to be in it. And some of the blade jobs in this one, like Cash Wheeler's blade job, man, he is cut himself for this. I mean, he really has cut himself. His face. I mean, like Dax Harwood's blade job's kind of dried up now because once you get like a bit of body, bit of sweat, and a bit of body heat, kind of will go. But Cash Wheeler is bleeding, to say the least. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho does as well. And certainly MJF. I mean, MJF bladed against, was it Moxley or Cody? He's not afraid to get a bit bloody. So I think we might be getting that as well. So there's going to be even more blood. Who's just where the gut's going to come from? But now that everyone's in the ring, we've still got about 15 minutes or so. We've still got about 15 minutes or so left. So we're not going to get to the finish straight away. So we're still going to have a lot of action going on in this one. I mean, I'm surprised Sammy Guevara is still alive at this point. Some of the bumps he's taken in this have been absolutely, insane. Madness. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. By the way, bottom right-hand corner, smash the like on the like button too. Really just help us out here on YouTube. Got the rankings. Get into people's recommendation feeds. Let's do a quick double check on the subscribers number. We are one subscriber away from 3,440. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. You can be that magic 3440 subscriber number. Of course, super chats as well are open. You can contribute to the channel by clicking the $sign. All of your donations and contributions are very much appreciated. It's the best way to support the channel and ensure that streams like this continue to happen in the future. Live watch-alongs, live reaction streams. We do reactions to our live watch-alongs for big events, pay-per-views, episodes of Dynamite or WWE that are particularly special. I think I'm going to do one for SmackDown on Friday for the old-school throwback version of SmackDown. I think I'm going to do one for that as well. But they've exposed the mats. They've exposed the wood underneath the mat. I'm looking for power drivers. FTR and Santana and Ortiz. Sammy Guevara. Oh, Spike power driver. What the hell's happened? I think the rope's broken. What the hell happened? Jericho hits a code breaker. I mean, the ropes broke. But literally, they went for the spike pile drivers, and the rope broke. I think. I don't know what is going on at this point. It's turning into a bit of a cluster. Sammy Guevara is going to try and go coast to coast. He's going to go for a Van Terminator. Can he hit it? He does. Van Terminator. Oh my gosh. That was insane. Sammy Guevara goes coast to coast. So, I mean, it is literally chaos in there. Man, he nailed that as well. Jericho's got the turnbuckle. I think this is good where MJF is going to get his color. Because MJF just gone down and then they've cut away, which means MJF is going to get color. What's Santana got? Has he got a fork? Santana's going for Abdullah the Butcher. Oh, MJF does have color, like I said. No, he's gonna stab MJF in the face with a fork. My God. Oh, he's eating the blood, which is not sanitary. But MJF's bleeding. Cash Wheeler's bleeding. Dax Howard's bleeding. Sammy Guevara was bleeding. I don't know if he is anymore. Jericho's choking out Wardlow. I think MJF is now going to bleed a lot. Cash Wheeler is still absolutely bleeding, like loads. He's got the proverbial crimson mask on. I mean, one of those rings is just completely trash. You've got what was that? They brass knucks? Oh. You've got the top rope missing. You've got the wood exposed on one of the rings. I mean, this crowd is red hot as well. The crowd is red hot for this. I mean, it's 50% capacity, but you would think it's 100%. This crowd is loving this. And it adds so much, doesn't it? It obviously adds so much to the event. Wardlow's trying to fight everyone off. Oh my God. Wardlow just threw Sammy Guevara like 10 feet in the air. Double leg Jake Hager. Oh, what is that now? Santana's got. He's got another weapon. Oh, Ortiz with a steel chair across the back of Wardlow as well. Oh, that was nasty. He went for something and Wardlow's just... he botched it. It was not pretty. It was a bit of a botch. I don't know what is going on. Hager now with a clothesline to Wardlow. That was a bit messy in the end. Oh, they've got another commercial break. Man. These matches are, this match is unbelievable. Obviously, the one thing that's kind of hurting it, I would say, is obviously the commercials. It does feel like, we got to go commercial. And it's just a little bit like, oh, again? Got to go commercial again? Talk about putting over Wardlow, though. I mean, it literally took the entire inner circle to put down Wardlow. How insane is that? And talk about putting someone over. Put him over, no doubt. But we've had, we've had quite a few chair shots to the head in this match, haven't we? And, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure how I feel about the whole, the chair shots to the head situation. They'll talk about, are they protected and all that kind of stuff? No. They're not. And I think there's been a couple of more at the moment in picture-in-picture. And again, we know the situation when it comes to chair shots. We know about concussions. We know about CTE. And I know people can say, oh, we can do them safely. You can get your hands up. No, there is no place for them in the world of professional wrestling. Tully Blanchard's attacking a referee on the outside. I can see him picture-in-picture. And Tully Blanchard, what's he getting now? Has he got the key? I think Tully Blanchard's going to get in. I mean, this is happening in picture-in-picture, so it's a bit difficult to figure out what's going on here. And he's let out MJF, and MJF is climbing. MJF is climbing up the cage, and I think he's going to go on the roof. And Jericho's going to follow him. Jericho and MJF are climbing to the top of the cage, and Jericho's just swung the cage at Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard's on the floor. And Jericho's climbing. What the hell? MJF is on the top of the cage, and Jericho is going to follow him, it looks like. Again, this is all happening in picture-in-picture. So what is going to happen here? We're going to see something insane, I think. Jericho and MJF are going to the top, which is pretty nuts. Well, not pretty nuts. It's absolutely insane. I mean, Jericho's 50 years old, and he is ascending a cage on live television to chase MJF, who is a bloody mess. And Jericho, I mean, he's doing the slow climb because I think he realizes that they're still in picture-in-picture. I think he wants to go to the top rope once they're back. Right now, he'll climb. Because MJF's escaped to the top of the cage, but Jericho's in pursuit. Jericho and MJF, they're going to meet at the top of the cage. This is not going to end well. MJF's a bloody mess. This is going to be mental. This is going to be absolutely mental. Oh, Jericho's got the walls of Jericho locked into MJF on the top of the cage. Oh, my God. If he taps out, it's over, right? Is he going to tap? Is he going to tap? That's the question. Oh, a low blow. A low blow to Jericho on the top of the cage. We're going to see something crazy. I have no doubt we're going to see something mental. Maybe he's going to lock in his own submission. He does. He locks in the salt of the earth. Fujiwara armbar on the top of the cage to push Jericho. Man, this is nuts. Can you imagine if he submits Jericho on top of the cage? Is he going to tap? He's trying to fight away. Oh, now he's going to try and break the hand of Jericho. I'm going to say the camera work's pretty solid. This is some old school proper pro wrestling. Oh, he's biting the hand of Jericho now. I must say it's a nice touch of having them all wear white gear, the Pinnacle, that is just getting stained with blood. Is Jericho going to tap? He says no. I mean, we're only a few minutes away from going off the air, so they've got to do something. This is craziness. What's he got? He's got the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Oh, Dynamite Diamond Ring to Chris Jericho. And now Jericho's going to get color, I think. They did the cut away from Jericho, so I think he's going to get color. Yeah, he does. Chris Jericho's now bleeding. I mean, who isn't bleeding at this point in the match? Where MJF is looking at something. Tony Schiavone just called him a no good piece of shit. He wouldn't. Well, is he going to throw? If Jericho takes a bump from the top of the cage to the stage, then no way. He wouldn't. He said he's going to throw him off the top. Or if you don't surrender, I'm going to throw him off the top. They're telling him not to do it. Guevara surrendered. Guevara surrendered. Guevara surrendered. Wow. He saved Jericho from not being thrown off the top. So the Pinnacle have won. The Pinnacle have won. Surely MJF, if you're a heel, you'll do it anyway. Crowd are booing. I don't know if they understood the finish. I mean, I still think we're going to see it anyway. Because to be honest, if Jericho does it to MJF now, I'd be like, how'd you forfeit for? Well, why did you surrender? Oh, they're so going to do it. It's set up. Oh, he did it. He pushed him off the top. He pushed Jericho off the top. Chris Jericho was just thrown off the top. Oof. It's nasty. It is nasty. Oh, my God. It's safe, though. You can tell it's safe. I think. I mean, look, is that proper metal? Jericho opened up his eyes, which kind of gave that one away. Went like that. So I guess maybe then maybe Jericho's going to be off television for a little bit. MJF looks like a mega heel there. You got to admit it. Absolutely looks like a mega heel. MJF is celebrating. What a match that was. Dean Malenko's out there. But the Pinnacle get the victory, which I think most people thought was probably the right outcome. What a match. Really, what a match. Jericho, they're doing the stretcher job on Jericho right now. They're posturing a little bit. I think they maybe did the spot a little bit too early. But the Pinnacle get the victory. Again, they're kind of just filling time, I think, a little bit here. And they just told MJF, go pose, pose. But what a show. What a show. We're going to switch over to a reaction stream very quickly, so bear with us. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today.